by professional floor covering.
Welcome to Community Comments here on 95.3 WBEV. I'm Jake Hayes, and Community Comment is presented by Professional Floor Covering and Abbey Design Center at 713 Park Avenue in Beaver Dam. Visit their website, proflr.com. They're locally owned. Randy and his team are here to help you design the perfect space with over 1,000 samples of carpet, LVP, hardwood tile, area rugs, and window finishings. It's so much more than floors. It's a wide selection of kitchen and bathroom countertops, cabinets, tiles, shower inserts, and more. Speaking of their cabinetry, if you want your kitchen cabinetry to not only look beautiful but last for years to come, partner with top brands to offer unrivaled quality and craftsmanship. From traditional to modern kitchen cabinets, their cabinetry team is here to help inspire and create your dream kitchen. And now, without further ado, we will send it over to the Daily Dodge TV studios with Terry Bell for today's Community Comments.
Thank you very much, Jake. And another edition of Community Comment is underway. We are talking today with Dodgeland School Superintendent Todd Greco about a recently completed survey that went out to people in the district and a lot of other things that are affecting students and families all over the Dodgeland district. Todd Greco, thanks for being with us this morning.
Good morning. Yeah, thanks for having me. Good to be with you again.
It is good to be with you again. You've been on the job since summertime. How are you finding Juneau to your liking?
Juneau has been great. Obviously last time you and I had talked, I just kind of been at work here for just a couple of weeks, and now having been here now about 4 months, it's been really great. Been out to all of the various stops in the community, met a lot of people, been to every little village or town hall event, met with a lot of the various village councils, the city government, and a number of other leaders in the community, and have had just a great experience and a very good welcome. So it's been wonderful. And now, of course, with school having already been in full swing, had an opportunity to meet with parents and students and families and other community members. So it's really been great.
One of the big undertakings this fall has been a survey that went out to people in the district. They had until about 9 or 10 days ago to complete that survey. Is it too soon to say what the results of that survey are, or are you still looking into it, or can you draw any conclusions yet?
Yeah, no, we just had our survey actually was presented on Monday to our school board in public session, and we had been working with a survey team from School Perceptions, which is kind of what their specialty is and what their expertise is, and they helped to conduct that survey for us across the community and came to present that survey to our school board on Monday.
Very good. Describe to me the process before we get into some of the results. What sorts of things did you want to know about, and how were people asked those questions?
So one of the things we first started with was obviously working with our team here at school. We talked with our school board, engaged them in some conversation. They felt that based on last year in the spring, we had a failed referendum, and so based on that, really wanted to reach out to the community and find out a little bit more about where people were at, what their thoughts were, and sort of the direction for the school district. Then we engaged School Perceptions to help us with that process and worked with our administrative team and our school board to ultimately develop some questions. And there was a number of meetings that took place over the first couple of months. We started this process in August, and so we probably went through August and a good portion of September, numerous meetings going back and forth in terms of thinking about what exactly a question was that we wanted to ask and how we wanted to ask it, and as we tried to move forward to gauge the community's thoughts. And then ultimately that landed with a finalized product, which was about 4 pages or so long, and we mailed that to every district household, as well as provided QR codes and opportunities for community members and other stakeholder groups to take that survey. We surveyed our staff, and we surveyed every community member, or at least every community member had the option to do so.
How was the response rate? Were you able to get a big enough sample to draw conclusions that you feel are accurate?
Yeah, so we put the survey out. I think it started to land in mailboxes right around the last week of the third, I think it was the last week of September. And we had our timeline was October 20th. And residents still had the opportunity to, as long as it hit the mailbox, as long as they mailed it back to us, I should say, by the 20th, then we had some pretty good confirmation that it would be received. So if someone handed in a paper copy of the survey, and our results were excellent. We had 450 total respondents, and based on our overall community population, our goal estimate was to have around 380. We felt like if we had about 380 based on some of the expertise that the school perceptions firm was able to provide to us, that we would have some very good, credible data that we could then use to help us make some decisions. And so to have 450 total surveys was really even beyond what our intention was. So we feel really strongly that the data that we received is very good.
And if you could broadly summarize what it is the respondents had to say, how would you characterize what you heard?
Well, I think one of the big takeaways was we have an extremely supportive community that values the work that's being done here in the Dodgeland School District. They care about the district, care about our students, and they care about the future opportunities that our students have. And so there was overwhelming support, definitely, for our school district, and also as a part of that was asking some, a referendum question, and we certainly had a great deal of support as well to even go to the community in the future to possibly ask for a referendum again. I think that's the next phase of things as the school board starts to wrestle with some of those decisions on what exactly we will go back to the community, or if we will go back and ask. But I think that most of some of the informal conversations up to this point is leaning in that direction, that we're going to go to the community likely and ask for a referendum, although that hasn't officially been decided yet. But I think that's probably the direction we'll be headed.
Our guest is Dodgeland School Superintendent Todd Greco. We're going to take a quick break here, but be right back. You're listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. This
and so much more. The team at Professional Floor Covering can't wait to connect with our friends through today's community comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
And we are back with more community comment here on 95.3 WBEV. Here's Terry Bell.
Thank you very much, Jake. Our guest today is Todd Greco. He's the superintendent of the Dodgeland School District. We're talking about a recently completed survey that went out to people in the district, and a very high response rate, higher than district officials were hoping for. Getting input into what it is that people in the district want from their schools. We invite you to join the conversation, especially if you live in the Dodgeland School District, or your kids go to school there. You can call us or text us at 920-887-9595, or you can call us at 885-4446. Maybe we can get into the nuts and bolts of the survey results at this point, Todd Greco. And besides the fact that the community is very supportive of the schools, what else did you learn from the questions, that answers to their questions?
Well, I think some of the things in particular, I mean, we learned that I think a threshold probably for the community overall, some support, we're probably looking at, around 700,000 or so is kind of what that threshold would be. We have a pretty good confidence interval that the community would support some funds for that and for some of the various programs and things that we have here. Most of that would probably go to support really just maintaining some of the operations and things that we have. There may be a little bit left over, that we might be able to, address some of the other shortfalls in some other areas. But most of that, if not almost all of that, would likely go to support essentially the educational opportunities and experiences that we have for students as things currently exist right now. Okay,
so 700,000, you say?
Yeah, and I think, and then the other things that we had asked folks to sort of direct us on were some things that they, we asked for their input on things that they're really proud of and things that they are looking for us to be doing a little bit more of. So, give you a couple of examples. I think one of the things that we learned is there's a deep need from the community that they're interested in increased transparency across our district in terms of decision making by us as administrators, myself, as a district administrator, as well as our school board, and trying to also inform the public in a little bit more transparent fashion around some of our district finances. I think it's clear that the community very much supports the work that we're doing here. They value our teaching staff. They value the opportunities for our children. At the same time, they want to be really informed about the needs that exist from a financial perspective, because everybody's working really hard to earn a dollar, and they're willing to give that to us, but they also want us to show them where those needs really are.
Any idea at this point, at this early point, what changes might happen in order to meet that desire for increased financial transparency?
Well, one of the things we looked at right off the bat, even starting this past Monday, is we're starting to look for a way to ultimately reach the community in a little bit more meaningful way. So I'm really proud of our school board and our administration and their openness and willingness to try some new things. One of those things is going to be to look at potentially recording our school board meetings when we discuss, all of the business and operations that are going on in our school district and opportunities for students, our instructional programming, and all of the things that make up our district, and then ultimately record that and probably post that in a virtual format the following week. And so we're starting to play with that a little bit. Just this past Monday, we recorded that. It's probably not ready just yet for distribution, but we're starting that process with the goal over the next couple of months to ultimately get to a point where we have all of the technology pieces in place to make that a reality every month moving forward. So we're already starting to do some of those things.
Technology gets cheaper and better over time in general. Is there a product out there that you feel will meet the taxpayers' needs both ways in terms of transparency in cost?
Yeah, actually, I think right now what we're looking at is we already have some of the technology pieces already in place, and so we're trying to do it as low cost or no cost as possible. And so it's just a matter of making sure that we have the right amount of microphones, for example, having some of the recording equipment and things like that. So we already have some of that in place, and I think that's going to be step number one. And as time goes on, as you mentioned, there may be some other opportunities for us to take advantage of some technology advancements to make it an even better experience for folks that might not be able to be present in our school district to see it live, but would be able to view that at their convenience.
Are people able to see the results of the survey on the district website?
Yes, we are going to be posting the final results here in the next few days. Technically, our official survey results will be available probably by the end of this week, maybe first part of next week. The reason for that is because when our survey closed on the 20th, we wanted to give ample time for any folks that were mailing in the survey. So as of today, we have 450 survey respondents that have come in, and probably expecting over the next few days here, it's obviously Wednesday, we're kind of thinking maybe a survey or two might pop in, and then officially, basically, as we come to an end of the week here, we would close all survey entries and it would become official. And then at that point, we're going to post it on the website and those kinds of things and put it out to everybody. So we did present the things that I'm kind of discussing with you here this morning. We did present this publicly to our school board and to other members of the community that did attend the meeting on Monday. And so most of the information probably won't change a great deal, but it will become official here at the end of the week.
Right. As you mentioned, part of what you'll be doing is taking this information and using the feedback as the district formulates perhaps another referendum question in the future. Are there some absolutely, non-negotiable needs the district will have in the future that would probably go down on a referendum? What improvements did we miss out on when the $1.4 million referendum went down last spring?
Well, some of the things, unfortunately, we did have to have significant reductions. We did reduce our budget by about $760,000 coming into this school year. So there are some things that we won't be able to necessarily add back in ways of, mental health support. We did reduce some of our career and technical education offerings, Project Lead the Way. We combined some positions to continue to offer some opportunities. We reduced the local bus route. And so there are some things that we won't be able to probably add back in without moving up to a higher threshold. But at the same time, we're going to be able to maintain a lot of the things that we already do have. And maybe if we can get creative and try to audit our district a little bit more thoroughly, there's a possibility that we could even find some other areas maybe where there's some efficiencies and things like that. As there's some attrition, I'm sure that will happen just naturally over the year, and possibly be a little bit more focused on some of the other priorities that we think are certainly necessary, because one of the things we also learned through the survey is there is a great value and understanding of our public on some of the mental health supports that students need, and our community recognizes that. And so if there's a way for us to even find some ways to add something like that back in to support our students, I think that would be great.
The Department of Public Instruction just announced what state aid is going to be distributed to school districts around Wisconsin. How did Dodgeland come out?
So our state aid, we are one of about 25% of districts that did receive a little bump in our state aid, which did help with our budget deficit for this year. We received about $69,000 more in state aid year over year, which certainly was very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And is that money earmarked for specific things, or is that for the district to use at its discretion?
So that money would be at discretion, so that'll go into our general fund. And really what it did is we had opened up the year with a much higher budget deficit, and so that will help to reduce some of that budget deficit.
Very good. We're talking to Dodgeland School Superintendent Todd Greco about all things happening in the Dodgeland School District that's affecting kids and families and the community at large. We need to take a break here for the news, but we will be right back. You're listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Shop the pit!
WBEV. We are brought to you in part by McKinstry's Home Furnishings. They are in downtown Beaver Dam on Front Street under the red awning. You can visit their website, mckinstryshomefurnishings.com. They are celebrating their 167-year anniversary. They have picture framing services. McKinstry's Home Furnishings stocks a large selection of picture frame moldings and conservation mattings and glass. This ensures prompt and proper professional framing of your needlework, family photos, wedding pictures, oil paintings, wildlife prints, and award certificates. They've even framed a guitar. Best of all, you will be amazed at the low everyday prices. Let McKinstry's sales designers help you select just the right frame and matting to enhance the beauty of your artwork as well as your home. Take your frameable pieces to McKinstry's Home Furnishings. You will be very happy you did. And now, without further ado, we will jump back into the action here on Community Comment. Here's Terry Bell.
Thank you very much, Jake. We're talking with Dodgeland School Superintendent Todd Greco this hour. If you'd like to join the program, especially if you live in the Dodgeland School District or that's where your kids go to school, we invite you to join the program by calling or texting 920-887-9595, or you can call the studio line at 885-4446. And Todd, it is that time of year where school districts and local governments are working on their annual budgets. When is the annual budget meeting for Dodgeland, and what kind of specifics can you give us about what taxpayers can expect?
Yeah, so our annual meeting, our annual budget hearing took place just Monday, a couple days ago, and where we were able to present, obviously, to our school board and any other community members that were present. We had probably, I would say, anywhere between a half dozen to a dozen community members also that came to that meeting.
Okay, and I guess what does the next budget spend, and what will be the impact for the typical taxpayer?
Yeah, so our budget this year, came in obviously as a deficit, and I think we obviously had some conversations about that when I last was on the show with you. And for this year, we're looking at roughly about a $300,000 budget deficit. And so as the year kind of progresses, we'll try to make up some of that as best we can and try to minimize that as much as possible, and even possibly, if we're successful enough, maybe get it down to a balanced point. But, and that's where you'd asked me in that previous question about state aid. We did receive a little bit more state aid, which did help us to reduce that.
Yeah, if I understand correctly, then some steps that had to be taken was reducing certified staff by attrition, entering in some shared agreements with neighboring school districts for different positions, and cutting 2.5 support staff positions. Am I on the right track here?
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, we had done all of those items and tried to reduce as much as possible. And then, and a big part of the budget is driven based on student enrollment. And so our student enrollment here reduced by about 5 students year over year. So we have a total enrollment this year of 674 students, which is 5 less than last year. And just kind of looking at that trend over time, we have had some slight drops in enrollment over the years. And so a part of that also, it has a significant impact on our overall budget. Part of our funds then were increased on a per pupil basis based on some of the revenue limits that were put in place by the state. And then also we have some students that are residents of our district that go to other surrounding districts or also attend private schools. And so, which we ultimately pay those other school districts or private schools to educate our students.
Mm-hmm. I understand some extracurricular programs had to be cut or scaled back. For better or worse, those are the programs that tend to get the most public attention for better or worse. What cuts did you have to make, and how do you think the student experience can be good otherwise?
So yeah, our actually we were able to avoid as much of that as possible. So we did cut our middle school wrestling program, but aside from that, we didn't have any other additional cuts to our student experiences, extracurriculars, and things like that. We had a very minimal impact on some of that. And so I think that's certainly a positive and a testament. I can't say that in terms of long range planning, but at the same time, at the moment, I think we're in pretty good shape for that moving forward.
You expressed optimism that by the end of the year that the budget could be balanced. What would have to happen in order for that to happen?
Well, I think right now some of that we're early on, and so we do have some planned expenditures and things that are in there, right? That's kind of the budget. So if some of our, for example, operational costs, maybe our facilities ends up coming in a little bit less than expected based on some of those things, that will certainly help us. We will have a couple of positions that will probably turn over, and possibly we'll be able to collaborate with surrounding districts to possibly enter into additional shared servicing agreements. And then, of course, one of the big ones is our health insurance and things. And so once we finalize on some of those numbers, that'll come in towards the end of the year, and that'll give us an idea of ultimately where we're at. So it may quite possibly end up being a little bit less than what our deficit is, because right now it's a projection based on our planned expenses. But in the end, once we get all those numbers in finally, our actual expenses, we just have an extra eye on that as the year goes on, and I'm hopeful that we'll be able to do that. I think we'll probably still have a deficit. I'm very confident that we'll still have a budget deficit at the end of the year, but I'm hopeful that it won't be at the point that it is right now. So we'll just have to see where it ends up.
I want to backpedal a little bit to the survey that we were talking about earlier, and what kind of response did you get to the survey that's going to help you guide your planning for the future?
Well, I think one of the things that was very evident and very clear is our community very much so supports career and technical education. They really value that, life skills and opportunities for students in all of our career and technical education areas. One area that would be great for us, which unfortunately we don't offer, is family consumer science, but that would be something down the road, maybe if there are opportunities for us to figure out ways to save money in other areas and reposition that, because it is kind of a zero-sum game when it comes to the budget. But very much there's value on the great things that we already do have in place with our technical education program, our business education program. I would want to probably point out we have a great event going on for our Future Business Leaders of America group here later on this year. If there are other folks out there listening, we're looking for volunteers to come in and work with our students on a Saturday. It's going to be a competitive event for a lot of different school districts that will be coming to Dodgeland, and the kids will be engaged in leadership activities and, like I said, competitive extracurricular events. And it's a really great experience for the kids and our students, and it's a really great experience for any volunteer business folks out there, Chamber of Commerce people, and anybody that is out in the community that's willing to maybe be a judge. We'll teach them. They can get all the training the day of. It's very easy, very laid back, but a great opportunity to engage with us, and we would love to have them. But so that came out in the survey for sure, is the community really values some of the great opportunities that we have around career and technical education. They value our teachers, which I think at times is a little bit difficult for some of our staff, and I've kind of encouraged continue to tell our staff, I know that there's value out there. Our community does value our teachers, even though they're taking a little bit on the chin from a failed referendum a year ago. And so I'm really proud to see that our community does value our teachers. I have, good solid data that I can present to our faculty and say, look, our community does value the hard work that we're doing, and our community wants to retain the great staff that we have. That was another thing that came out. And so we're going to look for ways that we're able to continue to extend educational opportunities and experiences for our students that align with the community's values, while at the same time ensuring that we're able to retain the excellent staff that we do have, that the community does see.
We're talking to Dodgeland School Superintendent Todd Greco. And we are going to take a break right here, but come right back. You're listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Snap to Goff.
Providing this community beautiful floors and so much more, the team at Professional Floor Covering can't wait to connect with our friends through today's community comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
And we are back for the last segment for today's community comment on 95.3 WBEV. Here's Terry Bell.
Thank you very much, Jake. Just a few more minutes with Dodgeland School Superintendent Todd Greco. If you would like to join the conversation, if you live in the Dodgeland School District, if your kids attend school there, we'd love for you to join the conversation with your questions or comments at 920-887-9595. You can call or text that number, 920-887-9595. Or you can call the studio line in Beaver Dam at 885-4446. So the school year is underway, Todd Greco, and I was wondering what goals you and your staff have in mind for this the rest of the school year.
Yeah, so one of the big things we're really focused on, another thing that kind of came from our survey results was the desire of our community to have a print publication and media based on some of the things in the school district. And that was something that, unfortunately, had stopped due to budget cuts a couple of years ago. So one of our focuses this year is to look for ways that we can maybe reposition some of our financial resources and at least send out 2 newsletters this year to the public, and do that through the mail so that they'll get a print media will go out. And so that's going to be a focus. So people can expect that to probably land somewhere within the holiday season. And so kind of a goal time for that would probably be towards the end of November. So probably put something out then, and then maybe something again in the spring. And ultimately, as we start moving into the next budget cycle, working with our school board to see how we can incorporate that a little bit more into our regular planning. So that looks like that was something that is certainly missed by the larger community. Another thing we're focused on is certainly our instructional experience for students, making sure that we're much more aligned in terms of what our curriculum instruction looks like across our system, and certainly knowing that we want to improve some of our report card scores and all of the experiences for our kids. And then, of course, being fiscally responsible. We know that that's a value of our community. We know that that's a value of our school board. Our administration is committed to that. And so just looking for opportunities to be more fiscally responsible within the area of finance and operations.
It seems like there are some opportunities in Dodge County for young people who are maybe more interested in a career in the trades rather than going on to school after graduation. And there are programs here in Beaver Dam, I know, that are open to students throughout Dodge County. What kind of interest is there in the Dodgeland district in programs like that?
Yeah, definitely. We have some of our students I know that are taking advantage of some of the opportunities and shared learning experiences with other community agencies, whether that's through technical school or other shared agreements with community partners. And so we certainly have those opportunities as well, and that's an area that I think we certainly do very, very well, in comparison to many of our peers that are out there with some of those experiences. We have a state-of-the-art career and technical education. I would almost call it a center, but it's not. It's a wing of our school, our high school area, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I would encourage anybody that's listening, if they want to come in and take a tour, I would be delighted to give them a tour of that space. It's really certainly a point of pride, and one of my favorite spaces, in our school district.
Absolutely. How about opportunities for young people to those who are going on to college? More and more high school students are earning college credits while they're still in high school.
Yeah, we just recently we're looking at that. Just today, earlier this week, I just approved some applications for a number of our students that are taking advantage of the early college credit program, Start College Now. These are great opportunities through partnerships with UW, as well as technical colleges, Moraine Park, and others that are able to take some of those advanced courses. Some of them are transcripted, and they can take those courses right here at school, and others they might have to go to those campuses or virtually. But what a great opportunity for our students to pursue more rigorous academic work while at the same time receiving academic credit. Just puts them a little bit further ahead if they do decide to move on to post-secondary education. If they end up at those universities or technical colleges, they come right in with those specific credits. And possibly if they end up at a university or technical college elsewhere, some of those credits may transfer. So just a great opportunity for our students.
We have just a few minutes left on the show, Todd. I just thought I'd give you the floor to talk about what it is that you feel that your district is doing well, and share some information that you think is important for people in your district to know.
Yeah, one of the things, we just had a really great event, and we're trying to expand our opportunities to partner with the community in various spaces. Just this past weekend, we had a wonderful FFA event. It was our first run at that. We have a new teacher that's teaching our agriculture program, and we put on a really great event, partnered it with a car show. We had other community members that were here. And so it was a really nice event shared by many people. And I think those are the things that are continuing to advance, and we're continuing to try to explore so that we get more engagement with as many various stakeholders within the community. We partnered with the Juneau Chamber of Commerce recently. Our booster club for activities and athletics was present, and we were one of the food vendors. So we provided folks with chili and gave a food option for that. So those are just, and that was a very well attended event. Those are just some of the examples of things that we're doing. But before I forget, I also wanted to just call out our elementary principal, Jenny Hillsman, and our middle school principal, Dominic Gisha. This is National School Principals Month, and so I just wanted to wish them well and let everybody know we have some amazing principals here in Dodgeland, and really proud of the hard work that they're doing with our teachers, our students, and some of the community agencies as well.
Our guest this hour has been Todd Greco of the Dodgeland School District, the superintendent there. It has been an hour well spent, Todd, and I want to thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Likewise. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate it. And again, if anybody's got any questions for me, my door is always open, and we'd love to invite you here to Dodgeland and answer any questions and give you a tour.
We thank Todd Greco for joining us. We thank you for listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.